I think as men, we got to start to operate different and stop letting bait you. I had to learn. You got to learn. Somebody start escalating something, peace, I'm out. As long as they don't touch you, put your hands on you, go home. Yo, you ever notice all the sucker stuff that people used to look up to don't look up to no more? You ever notice that the stuff that we used to look up to, we used to be like, yo, dude got the hottest car, he had the most Jones, or he had everything popping, like he had all the things in the world was though you looked up to. You ever notice now we in a place now where though don't nobody give a damn about that now? Everybody on survival right now. When you look at everybody in survival, don't nobody give a damn about the hottest car, the who got the hottest chick. All people care about is can they make it to next week? Are they able to pay that mortgage? Are they able to keep up with that car note? It used to be a time where everybody used to be praised. You had that Benz, you got that BM. I was once there. I love my BMW. I love my Lexus. But you know what tended to happen as you started getting older and you started buying more and more stuff and you started accomplishing better things, you start getting different opportunities? I'm going to tell you what started to happen. You start to care less about the things that made you look like you had long money and to things that made you happy. I started noticing that the more stuff you get in life and you start progressing and you start thinking different, you stop trying to idolize the materialistic things. You say, yo, I want a home that I can wake up and be happy about. You're starting to see more and more of that today. Don't nobody give a damn about the gossip and the talk about who did this, who did that. That's when you notice when you leave out the hood, you like, dog, I don't want to hear that no more. It's about progress. When you're in progress mode, you don't even think about the same stuff no more. You start looking at different stuff. Like when you notice when somebody start a conversation, yo, you heard what happened to such and such, the first thing you start doing is you like, huh? You already know what they're talking about, but you try to act like it's foreign. And it's not that you being fake. It's about, you don't want to hear about dumb shit no more. It's like, dog, we ain't talking about something, yo, can we go into this property? I was there. I'm not going to say names, but I'm going to just say I remember bringing investment to a couple people. And I end up having to do it by myself. And it's sad, man, when we in a place now where it's though, when we have a mindset where it's though, it's like, yo, in order to get ahead, I got to sell. I got to be on the block. Everybody's story the same. Everybody can't start a story off where I was hustling. Tired of hearing that shit. Like, don't nobody care about that shit no more. Like, I gotta hustle. So what? We all was, not all, a lot of us was outside in the street. That's because we was outside in the street. Don't mean you gotta keep reminding people. You don't get no goddamn points because you outside hustling. You don't get nobody points for being no sucker. A sucker move. You know how many cats out here live that life, coming out of jail and prison, and they done lived to damn near 60, 70 fucking years old for somebody to say, yo, he a real one. What the fuck that mean no more? That I realize now I don't even talk like that no more, and I'm not. It's the lamest shit in the world to say, oh, you're a real one. You're a real one. Young, I'm about to say Young Dolph. Not Young Dolph. What shit? Let's just say Young Dolph. Young Dolph, I think, might have been a stand-up dude. I don't know who he was. I just know from listening to his music. I'm not going to bleed dumb. I'm not going to play dumb and act like I know somebody just because they rap. He's a real one. How you know? All I know is when you got a millionaire going through the hood with a bunch of wolves and people looking around hunting, even though if they did get paid off you, most people die in their hood when they rolling in money. I done seen it. I remember the days of riding through Southwest, and I used to see a Bentley, and I used to say to myself, there's no way that's Beans Bentley. You know how it's noticeable? Who the fuck is in the middle of the hood with a Bentley? You know how many houses that is? That's damn near 2 houses. Depending on what block you're in, it could be 3 or 4 houses. Don't play with me. You gotta stop with this dumbass shit, man. I even was dumb. I'm driving through the, I think I'm doing my thing. Fucking mom driving around in my 754. But then when I moved, it started to make a little bit more sense because I was a lot more comfortable when I was in a gated apartment. But you know what didn't make sense? When I started comparing myself to being successful compared to somebody being outside on the block. And I realized I had more in common with them on the block than rather than being successful. That's when I realized the car shit gotta go. Because in order for me to be successful, see, a lot of times people implement success with cars. That shit is broke mindset. I had to learn that. You know why? You spend more bread on your car than what your rent and everything else is. And then the moral of the story is, I ain't own nothing. And then when I got rid of stuff, I started noticing my mindset changed. And then next thing you know, I ended up buying my first property by myself. I say by myself because everything you don't always have to do as a group. I say that for a reason. A lot of you out here thinking you got to do stuff with somebody. If you know there ain't nobody riding out with you, then why the hell you looking to ride out with people on deals that ain't going to bring nothing to you but a headache? I'm not buying nobody out. You can't buy yourself out. Only way you buy your own stuff out is you sell and you walk away with the bread. Other than that, my downfalls and my ups and downs going to come from me. I don't always need somebody. And a lot of times I notice with these people on the gram always talking about, man, I had a role model and my role model taught me this. Until a motherfucker open that mouth and say, but my role model, he was just a hustler and he was getting bricks. Shut the fuck up. Nobody want to hear that shit all the time. Every time you see somebody talk about something, they talking about hustling. I'm never coming out of my mouth no more to ever talk anything about street shit and street malls. I realize that is the death of a lot of people. Keep thinking you're going to live by street rules and street codes. A lot of you motherfuckers are going to keep going to jail and dying on the street. You better get away from that shit. I had to get away from it. When I lost a couple people off of my recklessness, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to call myself a person to blame, but I'm going to say I'm going to own up to some shit. And I'm going to own up to some of the things I had done when I was younger caused some things that happened. And it's fucked up that I operated out of bitch mode. I'm going to tell you right now, I've always been stand up. But some of my things that I have done growing up as a teenager, thinking I was that dude, I had did some bitch shit. And when I say bitch shit, to you, you might say, yo, I was a stand-up dude. Some people know me, some don't. A lot of you probably don't. But you will look at it and say, yo, I don't take shit from nobody. But sometimes I think back to life and I say, if I walked away from certain situations, certain people might still be here. And when you growing up and you think that street mentality is going to get you far, what's going to happen is you're going to implement people into shit of your battles and your arguments and disagreements, and things end up happening. And the things that end up happening are the things that you can't come back from. And you got people today, every day, they wake up every day and they miss their cousins, they miss their uncles, they miss their brothers. When you think back and you say to yourself, I got nothing to do but smile when I grew up, I would love to say that, but I can't. I can just say that I'm glad that I had my mom. But also I can definitely say I'm a lucky and blessed person to make it out of effed up situations. I want my fellas to wake up, yo, and understand that nothing's going to change when people keep talking about crime and violence. And one of the reasons why it's never going to change is because systemically it is embedded in your psyche. When you come from a certain environment, I'm standing on mine. What does that mean? It don't mean shit. It mean you a pussy. It mean that you will ride out to take a life. I know what it's like to get into shit, but I'm going to tell you what is hard. It's hard to get out of it. It's hard to get out of it because it's going to go bad. It always does.